What up, y'all? It's your guy Dawson from D&D TV. Thank you for rating, commenting, and subscribing. Everybody who's donated, those of you all who will, you know I appreciate it. All that information is in the description box below. Also, make sure you go over to my other YouTube channel, Dawson Speaks TV. Make sure you subscribe over there. And when you subscribe, hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications when I drop a new video. Now let's get into this topic. For those of you who watch my show, you know that I have worked down here in South Florida for over 10 years in the social service industry. And a couple years ago, I decided to use my platform to be a voice for the victims, the people in society who are pushed aside, marginalized, and basically forgotten. The children, the elderly, individuals with physical and mental disabilities. Which brings me to this story that took place down here in South Florida, of course, Florida, here we go again, where a partially blind, disabled woman grew hotter, hungrier, and more scared while she was strapped into a locked medical transportation van without air conditioning for more than 4 hours, according to Broward Sheriff's Office. Carolyn Marie Roberson, who told deputies she can't walk and is a dialysis patient who survived 2 strokes. Carolyn uses a wheelchair and cannot operate a cell phone, according to her daughter. The van driver, Oscar Augusto Dorador, 38 years old, told investigators he picked up Roberson from her dialysis treatment in Tamarack, and he forgot she was inside the vehicle. He parked the van at his complex in Deerfield Beach, leaving Roberson trapped inside, according to the sheriff's office. Now, I'm going to let you all watch this news clip, and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary. And you all know me. I'm Dawson, and I won't hold back.
One and only exclusive tonight, a woman in need of rescue was instead abandoned in a hot medical transport van.
And now that driver is facing charges. Local 10 News investigator Jeff Wines here spoke exclusively with the victim.
If this had happened during the day, if the sun was out, Carol Roberson feels she would have died. She was trapped in a medical transport van for over 6 hours in that parking lot.
I started screaming and telling her, take me home, take me home. I don't belong here, take me home.
Carol Roberson was screaming for hours. She was trapped, strapped to a seat, locked in a hot medical transport van.
I need help, I need help.
The 57-year-old is partially blind. She's confined to a wheelchair. She's had 2 massive strokes. It is believed she was trapped in the van for over 6 hours.
Carol, how hot was it in that van?
It was too hot. I say it's hot.
Mr. Dorador is before the court for neglect.
Oscar Dorador was the van's driver. He works for Ready to Transport out of Hialeah. Dorador parked the van at his Deerfield Beach apartment, got out, left Carol alone. He's now charged with neglect. Carol realized something was wrong when Dorador wasn't taking the usual route back to her nursing home from her dialysis appointment.
I say, hey, you going the wrong way.
Does he say anything when he gets out?
No,
Just gets out.
get out.
And he locked it. Turned it off.
Minutes turned to hours. Carol says kids were knocking on the window of the van, making fun of her, but didn't help.
I was sweating.
Eventually, Carol's daughter got a call from the nursing home saying her mother never returned from dialysis. Shakira Breedlove had no idea her mother was trapped and left alone.
It makes me feel as if, like, he wanted her to die in there or something.
Carol's daughter called Logisticare in Miami Lakes. They're a transportation broker for Medicare, and they contracted Ready to Transport for Carol's medical van services.
They had no idea who had her. None whatsoever.
A security guard at the apartment complex finally hears Carol's cries for help, but it's 11 o'clock at night.
I'm safe. I'm safe. Thank God.
This could easily be any of our parents or grandparents.
The family has hired an attorney.
They should know at all times where that vehicle is, where it's heading, what its speed is, and also how many occupants are in the vehicle.
The incident has changed Carol's life. She refuses to be alone, refuses to get in a van again.
If this was during the day and the sun was shining,
She wouldn't have made it.
Roberson was taken to the hospital. She was treated for severe dehydration. No one from Ready to Transport would talk to us on camera about their driver, who they have since fired. And right now he's being held on $15,000 bond. In Deerfield Beach, Jeff Weinseer, Local 10 News.
All right, thanks, Jeff Weinseer. I'll take it from here. But before I do, let me give a shout out to Jeff Weinseer, because you all have seen him in many of the videos that I have done. Jeff gets to the bottom of the situation, and he does great reporting, and I appreciate it. So, Jeff, keep doing your thing. I appreciate it so much. Also, I want to give a shout out to the security guard who contacted the police, and by 11 p.m., the security guard at Mr. Door's complex led deputies to where Carolyn Roberson was still inside the van. Now, Carolyn Roberson's daughter said that sheriff's office called and she was reunited with her mother after midnight, in an emergency room of Broward Health North in Deerfield Beach. The company issued a statement that said it will cooperate with law enforcement. It said in part, "We apologize to Ms. Roberson for the issue she experienced. The driver has been removed from our network and is not allowed to transport any Logisticare members." Robert Perez, Logisticare Senior Vice President of Client Services, said the company does not hire the drivers for its transportation providers. Now they're trying to get out of it. Since that night, Shakira Breedlove says her mother cries and feels scared about her situation. She just doesn't know who she can trust. Like any of us, we don't know who we can trust in this world these days. The attorney, Blake Dolman, praised the nursing home staff as well as the action of the security guard who found Miss Roberson. According to Blake, he stated, "This type of thing only happens to the most vulnerable people in our society." Tell him, Blake. The children, the elderly, the disabled. The family is considering legal action against the transportation company. No, the family should take legal action against the transportation company. This is just horrible. Now, during the court hearing, Mr. Door wife was there, and she told the court and she told the news people that he has a clean record. He has no hate in his heart. He's the sweetest person. She doesn't know how this could happen. Well, neither do we. And I don't understand, as a person who watches the news at times, well, now more than ever, and I see these stories where children are left in daycare vans, children are left in cars, and now elderly people, and this has happened before. I don't understand how a person who is driving forgets that someone is in their vehicle. I don't understand that, because I remember in elementary school all the way up to high school, I caught the school bus like many of you did. And I can remember before getting on the bus, our bus driver would go and check every seat to look on to see was anything left there before we got on the bus, and even sometimes after we got off the bus. I remember those days because many of them would leave other schools, coming, and once they do their drop off, they go to another school. They had to check their buses. So when you have people who work in the medical field as medical transportation drivers, or people who work in daycares, and you all do not check your vans or your buses when you drop these children off, or these individuals off who have physical or mental disabilities, I don't understand that. Now, if your life is so in turmoil that you have issues that are going on that you can't function while you're driving, please don't drive. Please just don't drive. Or find another career, because this should not have happened to this lady. Now, I know, because I've worked with clients with developmental disabilities when I was in down here going to college, undergrad, and I had to drive some of my clients to doctor's appointments, dental appointments. Some of them had little part-time jobs at the movie theater. They let them usher. Some of them worked in grocery stores. We took them to different places out to eat and everything. I know how people feel when they are working with people with mental or physical disabilities, and they really don't want to work there, because I worked with staff who was just there for the check. Some of them did not want to be around the clients. They didn't want to take them places. They treated them unfairly. And I got into many arguments. Y'all know me with this big mouth. Yes, I did. got into many arguments with some of the staff because I would tell them these people have no family. It's just we are their family. We have to look out for them. That's why they are paying us to look out for them. And there are people who take jobs just because it's a job. And they don't really care about the kids. They don't care about the elderly. They don't care about people with physical or mental disability. They don't care. They just take it because it's a job. And that's why I really have no sympathy for people who are transportation workers or who work in the medical field and they neglect people. I have no sympathy for you because when you sign up for that job and you go through orientation, they tell you what they expect of you as an employee. And when you violate that, you need to be held accountable. And I am glad and I hope that justice is going to be served in this case, because no matter what his wife says and about how he's a good person and all of this, no, I'm not talking about you as a husband. I'm talking about you as an employee for this company and as a human being. We are living in a time now where we have people who really don't care about other human beings. I mean, it is just so sad, and especially the most vulnerable of society. Now, I'm going to get off this topic because it brings up an array of emotions for me. You all go off in the comments. Tell me what you think. Until next time, it's your guy Dawson. Take care of yourself and each other. And I'm glad that Miss Carolyn Roberson is okay. And I wish her all the best in her life. Until next time, peace.